guys, it's Chantel with Wildberry Quilting, and it's time for another spooky sew-along. So today we are going to be sewing the Boo quilt pattern from our spooky box. Let's get started. All right, guys, so we are starting out by taking our pieces and just attaching 5 of these into 4 rows. Now, one thing that I will say is that when you are doing anything with these pinked edges, a lot of people struggle knowing whether your edge of your fabric is considered the peak or the valley. Whenever you have these pinked edges, it is the peak that is the edge of your fabric. So if you're going to line this up along here, you're going to line it up like this, where you can see the edge of the fabric meeting the peak on your fabric, not to where it meets the valley. See how if I turn it around and I scoot it down, then we're meeting the valley. We want it to be scooted up and we want to meet that peak. Now, one thing that I noticed when I was going through and I was picking these out is it seems like there's a lot more black and gray fabrics in this junior jelly roll than there are oranges and whites. So I'm just going to try to make sure that I am matching up a black fabric with either a white or, well, a black or a gray fabric with either a white or an orange fabric. And I just kind of went through and threw all of my squares into a box and tossed them all around before I got started so that I could try to mix it up a little bit. This story I'm going to tell you starts out when we went over to the house of a family friend. My husband grew up with the kids in this family, and this was when him and I were both young adults. The whole family had gone over there for a barbecue. One of the girls that my husband grew up with had told us about how this house that they were staying in was very haunted. She asked us if we wanted to look upstairs at the more haunted area of the house where they typically have all of their activity. And of course we said yes. So most everyone was outside at this point, and she walked us over to the far end of the house where there was a door that led to a stairwell that went upstairs, and told us to wait at the bottom while she turned on the light. So she ran as fast as she could to the top of these stairs, flicked on the light, tore her way back down those stairs, wished us good luck, and walked out the door. So we cautiously walked up the stairs, and at the top of the stairs, there was a landing that went in 3 directions. There was a room to the left and to the right, and there was a bathroom in the front. And the room to the left had no door on it. It was just open. And the room to the right had a closed, locked door that had a glass handle. I remember vividly that glass handle. It was very pretty. Well, as soon as we stepped up onto this landing, my husband turns his attention quickly to the left, and he sees a figure just run, and it disappears and is gone. And he asked me, "Did you see that?" I did not see it. And I just was not looking in that direction. when we came up, I'm not sure what I was looking at, but I did not see what he saw there. But of course, we went into that room first, and there was a nursery set up in there and a regular bed. And not really too much more happened in that room. So we started walking out, and as soon as we got back onto that landing, the lights in the bathroom started to flicker. And our first thought is just, okay, the light has a short in it. So my husband started to step towards the bathroom, and the lights flickered more. And he stopped, and they stopped flickering. And he took another step towards it, and they started flickering again. And with each step that he stepped closer into this bathroom, the more rapidly it flickered. And I quickly stopped him, and I told him, no, if there's something there, it does not want you going any further there. He said, yes, but the attic entry is in that bathroom, and I wanted to see what was over there by the attic, because she said a lot of activity is there. So we did attempt to continue walking into the bathroom, but those flickering lights, if you can call flickering lights aggressive, they definitely became more aggressive the further he stepped in there. And I finally stopped him and told him, no, don't go any further. You know, you're not wanted there in that area. So he begrudgingly stopped. And then we walked back out onto the landing and looked over at the other side, the right side of the landing, where there was the door with the glass handle. And this room was locked completely. We weren't given the key to access it or anything. The top half of the door had a window, but it was blocked by like paper or something that had been put over the top on the inside. So there was no way we could really look in and see what was there. And of course, since this was a friend's house and they let us up there, but this area was kind of sectioned off or closed off, we figured they probably didn't want us in there, and we did not continue to push. At this point, we were still standing at the top of the landing since we couldn't enter that room. And I just got this really strong feeling of somebody pushing me, like wanting to push me down the stairs or wanting to push one of us down the stairs. And it just felt like somebody was right there behind us and they were just going to shove us down the stairs. And I was really nervous about this happening. And I told my husband about this, and he did not have that sense. That feeling did not hit him at all. But he agreed that we should go ahead and go back downstairs. As soon as we got back downstairs, we started hearing running back and forth upstairs through areas that we didn't even get to, or that might not have been accessible. I think there were actually areas in the attic which we would have had to go through that bathroom to get to. And nobody else was upstairs. There was absolutely no way that anyone else was up there. And we could just hear thump, 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 thump. And it was very, very distinctively somebody running back and forth. And we're not talking about an animal or anything like that. This was definitely human footsteps. Once we had gone down there and told her that we were done and we looked around, she had asked us about our thoughts on it and what, if anything, happened. We just explained to her what had happened, which really didn't seem like that much. But the whole time that we were telling her, we're just hearing thump, 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 thump. And she's looking up and she's like, you can hear it, that's what it does all the time. It's always doing that, which of course we found interesting. But we ended up leaving at the end of that get together. A few days asked him, "What did you do? Because you guys really seem to have made it upset. It has been acting up like crazy since you left." And, we didn't really do anything other than just walk around up there. But my husband ended up going back and just kind of apologizing if it felt like we intruded on it, because that wasn't our intention. And when he went back to do that, he actually got a chance to talk to the girl a little bit more. And the one thing that we had left out when we had talked to her is we did not tell her about my feeling of somebody pushing someone down the stairs. I don't know why we didn't tell her that. It just didn't cross our mind to at the time. But somehow it ended up coming up in conversation. And it was so interesting because we found out that prior to us having been there, her and her boyfriend had gotten into a disagreement, and he went to walk away and walk down the stairs, and something pushed him. And he got upset because he thought it was her that had pushed him. With how strong the push was, he thought she had tried to push him down the stairs. And of course, she's like, "No, I would never do that. However angry I am at you, I'm not going to push you down the stairs." The only thing that could be thought of is that whatever this was had been, I guess, somewhat protective of her. And since they were unhappy with each other in the moment, it was taking that out on him. And he got pushed. I didn't know anything about this. Nobody had told me about this. Nobody had told my husband about this. But it did happen prior to us going and visiting. So it was just interesting that I happened to feel that was a concern. And I don't know if that's because I was picking up on something that had happened already, or if it was because it was unhappy with us, maybe it was considering pushing us too. I'm not sure. All right, so I've sewn together 2 of these little 4 patches and a couple of other pieces, and I need to go press them. And then I'm going to trim this and discard a portion of it. All right, that's the end of part 1 of our spooky sew along. Please remember to join me for part 2. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I'll see you again next time. Bye.